So I wanted to talk today about a common issue that we're seeing with resistance to change, and that is change saturation. So in short, your organizations have too many things going on at the same time. And when we look at an individual that's impacted by multiple initiatives, it's just from a neuroscience standpoint and just emotional overwhelm, it's just not doable. And really, when we dig into an organization, we try to understand the core problem. It's a strategic planning and it's a leadership problem. So when we see mature organizations that do this well, they oftentimes will have a transformation office or a PMO, and they've got a stage gate process and a way to oversee and govern. That's a really important word. Have oversight to all of these competing initiatives that are going on. For organizations that don't have the same access to resources or scale or maturity, I want to just give some suggestions about what you might do. So, at the very least, when you initiate a project, oftentimes, I mean, I'm not going to get into it on this video, but there's political factors because it's assigned to a leader, and of course, they want to see that it gets done. But one thing that we can do is engage a change manager early on in the process and look down the road at how individuals will be impacted with training, communications, and just the need for behavior change. Might be change in routines, whatever. And then if you don't already have some kind of like council, if you don't have that PMO, we need a way to correlate the different initiatives that are going to be impacting a specific user group. So for instance, let's use sales. I spent a lot of my career in sales. There's so much pressure on sales to be constantly looking at competitive pressures in the marketplace, advancing technology, advancing data and analytics, improving soft skills of your salespeople all the time. So you can and probably should be looking at those things all of the time. But imagine that you're implementing a new CRM system and then doing all those other things that I talk about. And all of a sudden, there's a delay in the technology for the CRM system. So now you want to train everybody on everything all at one time. That obviously can't happen. I mean, people can't physically be in 4 places at once, but it's just too much for people to absorb. So going into a project, as I started to say, engage that change manager up front and look at what the actual requirements will be to interface with the end user and for them to absorb change and adopt new behaviors and lay that out and have a means to track it. This is where your change manager and your project manager might partner together. And then to some degree, have a gatekeeper that is overseeing a particular end user group or function and understanding all of the initiatives that are coming at them, and allow that person to have some governance. I'll go back to that word and pushback for how things might get moved around a little bit, because you can either fail at all the initiatives or hopefully succeed really well at one. And I think that's better than failing at all of them. So I'm going to put a link to a great HBR article that talks about this, but really, I think it's super important that we overcome some of these obstacles, because if we're doing too much, we're just going to end up doing nothing in terms of progress. So good luck, and the link to the article will be in the post.